up, White Sox fans? Alyssa Bergamini, your in-game host for your Chicago White Sox, and you are watching the best podcast on the south side of Chicago, Burbs Hitmen. Make sure to tune in.
You're listening to the Ballroom Network. The following program is intended for all audiences. Welcome to the Burbs Hitmen podcast with your hosts, Joe Mandel, Zim Zimmerman, Vinnie Parise, and Chris Gonzalez. We're bringing you the White Sox coverage you need from the perspective of true Southsiders. Grab your Comiskey dog with an ice cold beer and meet us in section 155. Everyone get on your feet for your Burbs Hitmen.
That ball hit deep. Way back. You can put it on the board. Yes. Jimenez in the air. Left field. He's your hero tonight. Thanks, Cubs.
Over the head of Jenks. Uribe charges, throws. Out! And the White Sox have won the World Series.
Alexei! Yes! 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 History! A perfect game by Mark Burley and what an unbelievable play by 21.
First pitch starts now. What's going on, everybody, and welcome to Burbs Hitmen. I'm one of your hosts, Joe Mandel, and I'm joined by my White Sox brother-in-arms, Vinnie Parise and Chris Gonzalez, who lost internet connection and is back just in time for the open of the show. So what's up, gentlemen? Vinnie, Gonzo, welcome back. How you guys doing tonight?
Go ahead, Vinny.
I'm doing good.
Don't all chop down the fence at once to get going.
Yeah, it's good. The weather's nice. The Sox are playing. Got 5 in a row against the Kansas City Royals. You don't usually see that too often. But, hey, you're going to play a doubleheader in a 4-game series, make it 5. Let's do some work.
Yeah, let's do some work is right. And Gonzo, it's your first time back in quite a while. We're happy to have you. And we'll talk about Tony later on. But how you feeling? How you been?
Honestly, I mean, I've been stressed with my day job, but honestly, as I got off work, my hype for this show just kept on getting better and better, and I'm glad to be back with the boys. I saw one of Vinny's newer articles in the Blackhawks today, and that got me pretty hyped. Seeing some of his work, and then just seeing your face pre-show, Joe, and all of your masterful edits got me very happy with your work from my hard work sending to you. But yeah, there's nothing great. Like, I mean, you saw my put on your socks from that win on Saturday, how hyped I was, and then like just the toss of a day really. They just were pathetic yesterday versus Cortez, and it just wipes all that energy away. And now we have to get excited for this Kansas City series. And tonight so far they're doing what they got to do to get back on track.
They are, and that's great stuff. And speaking, you mentioned about hype. Speaking of hype, we're going to hype up our guest who's here to join us right now. We have a very special guest tonight, Missy Carroll from SouthSide Behavior, is going to join us for the entire show. So, gentlemen, join me in welcoming Missy to the show. Missy, thanks so much for joining us.
Hey, happy to be here. Thank you guys for having me.
No problem. We're looking forward to talking some White Sox tonight.
Yeah,
it's been an interesting week, I would say.
Yeah, interesting's the word I would rather use right now. Yeah, it's stressful. Stressful, I feel like is a bigger word for me. Just the back and forth, just like he was saying, we had that hyped up win on Saturday, and I was like, okay, maybe we just needed 2 days, and then now just trying to pick it back up after the loss back to the Royals. So yeah.
Yeah, back to the Royals, which I think is always a recipe for success. But at the top of the show, we usually have kind of our talking points, and I think one of the hot topics to start the day, and as everyone that follows us on Twitter and Missy as well, we've been talking about this lineup from Tony La Russa. We're going to dive into Tony's decision making later, but Vinny, Tony put Andrew Vaughn in the 9 spot today. And sure enough, this happens at the beginning of the game.
Andrew Vaughn hits it skyward into right center field. Isbell makes the catch. There is no throw. Adam Engel creates a run, and the Sox have a 1-0 lead.
So, opening conversation point. We don't have to talk about Tony's decision making here. We'll dive into that in another segment. But Andrew Vaughn generating the first run in the 9 spot. I mean, I don't know if any of us saw it coming other than Gonzo. And Vinny, you're shaking your head over there. I'll let you respond.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I want Vaughn higher in the lineup. Because when there's a runner on third, he comes through. He does what he needs to do. He's one of the best bats on the team, and he has more opportunity with less than 2 outs and runners on third when he's batting higher in the lineup. Adam Engel's not on third every single time. The guys hitting ahead of him are not doing all that well. They're doing well enough to be like considered decent 9 hitters on most teams. Leuri's been good lately. Adam Engel's been okay from time to time. He's got a lot of more power than people probably realize. But I want Andrew Vaughn getting extra at bats every single game. So yeah, that was nice. I'm happy it worked out. It's not one of those things where I like root for things to fail, but I need Vaughn higher in the lineup. I want him getting more at-bats every single game. And so far this season, he's probably been their second best hitter, maybe third. It's a debate between him, Robert, and Anderson.
And he doesn't even play every day. I know. It's crazy.
Exactly. You would never see DJ LeMahieu or Anthony Rizzo batting 9th on the New York Yankees. That's kind of where I'm at with it.
It's a valid point. Andrew Vaughn. We wanted to see more of him, but I don't think the 9 spot's where I want to see him. But anyway, I wanted to briefly touch on it at the top of the show. Gonzo, you'll get a chance to talk about it again later when we dive into that certain segment about that certain manager on a certain team that we like to follow. But second thing I want to talk about tonight, Johnny Cueto making his White Sox debut. So far, looks like he's cruising through the Royals lineup. I'm sure that's probably a bit of a jinxing statement. As you saw last week, I jinxed it because the Sox were winning that game against the Yankees. Or who were they playing in that game last week?
The Guardians.
The Guardians. That's that game where they gave up the massive amount of runs in the 9th. Like Missy, I literally said last week, I said we have a 9-8-2 lead going into the 9th.
Yeah.
You ended the show by
like,
saying enjoy the Sox win.
No.
Yep.
That's what we get. That's what we get. We can't have nice things like that where we can't be sure about anything ever sometimes.
I mean, I was lucky enough to do an edit the next morning for our Put On Your Socks where I did that with the credits and then I did the Curb Your Enthusiasm music, So, no, I mean, I got some good content out of it.
Like, for people who went to bed too, like there were so many people who were like, I went to bed thinking like, we're fine. I'm like, no, you can't. You can't be relaxed like that, I guess, with this team sometimes, Which
I think that's what we wish we could all have is a little relaxation with this White Sox team. Yeah. So I'm not going to jinx anything, but Johnny Cueto, so far so good. Gonzo, what are you looking for out of Johnny Cueto with this team? Because obviously right now he's being our 5 starter, but this is a guy that's a seasoned vet. But again, there's a reason he was a free agent. Can he do some good things for us?
I mean, usually with his age at this point of his career, the efficiency is what I was kind of worried about. How efficient was he going to be at the pro level here? And that's something we're going to have to find out here. I mean, yeah, he's going up against the Kansas City Royals who are struggling. So hopefully with how much use we've had out of this bullpen, hopefully this is a guy with this veteran experience that can just, get deep into this ball game, go through the lineup 2 times, hopefully, and get deep into the game. And we're going to need as much as possible until Lance Lynn comes back. And without knowing how Keuchel's going to do here, the good and bad with Keuchel and the bouncing back, same with Vince Velasquez. The Sox are going to have to battle here with their rotation, and I'd rather see Cueto up than Jimmy Lambert. That's for sure.
Well, I think we might see Jimmy Lambert tomorrow. I do.
I know.
Do you think, Vinny? Do you think we're going to see Jimmy Lambert tomorrow?
I wouldn't be surprised if we get Cease and Giolito. We're being honest with each other.
Yeah, I'm coming back to that.
That's what I want. I want honesty. I only want honesty from you, Vinny.
I honestly hope that's the case too. Speaking of honesty, if Giolito's cleared to play, I don't see the point in running a spot starter and Cease. Like, that just makes no sense in my brain. I would run Giolito and Cease, and then one of the two will get an extra day of rest in their next turn. That's how I would do it if I were PLR. But there are a lot of things I would do differently.
I think that's what's going to happen, but it all depends on how Giolito's feeling, how he's going to bounce back, however COVID is going to affect him, because with each person, it's just going to vary.
I think we would all be happy to see Giolito take the mound tomorrow. Let's be honest, we want to take 5 out of 5. We really do. We need to. At least 4 out of 5.
And I want to see him twice this week versus the Yankees too. So
yeah, well, I don't want to see them again. We'll talk about that again later, but. the last talking point before we get into our segmented portion of the show is the lack of offense. This team can't get the bats going. A lot of people are pointing fingers at Frank Menachino. They're pointing fingers at Tony La Russa. They're pointing fingers at the players' preparation. Missy, from you watching this team, just like we all are, what do you see from these guys? The reason why they're just so darn ice cold. Did you see them turning it around? Do you think it's the hitting coach? Just curious your thoughts on what's going on with the bats.
Honestly, I'm one of those people that is like, it's not one specific thing. I definitely think there's something in every there's something off in a lot of areas is how I always feel about stuff with this team. I feel like where a lot of us are like quick to blame La Russa on a lot of stuff, when if you kind of step back, it's like something I feel like there's a couple other working parts that could have been better. And for hitting, I honestly feel like it's a combination of 3. I feel like there's something not clicking with them, because whenever I see them up to bat, it's just, there's no confidence seen. Like, I just don't see the confidence that I feel like that we should be seeing with them. I don't know if it's mental, like if there's anything mentally going on with them as far as I don't know. I remember like kind of earlier in the season, they were saying they were kind of I don't know if that was something in passing. I just remember their hitting coach saying something was going on, but I can never pin it on one specific thing. But
yeah,
it's just like disappointing to see, but I have no doubt that the bats will heat up soon. I just feel like they're going through some sort of phase right now, but every time we're in something like this, like in kind of a phase, like especially like what we went through with the Yankees, I always tell myself, I'm like, just something's off. This is not the team that they have the talent. Just something's not, something that just isn't working behind the scenes, and they need to fix that. So I don't doubt that offense is going to pick up. I have a strong feeling offense is going to start picking up, but I just think there's something that needs to be dealt with, and I'm not sure where it's coming from, though. It could be multiple things.
Yeah, it's been a disappointing, especially the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Vinny, do you think there's any merit to Frank Menachino getting the axe here?
I just don't know what people think Frank Menachino does to make the guys like suck at hitting. I just don't. I don't know what they think hiring a new hitting coach would do when Nestor Cortez and Garrett Cole are the 2 people shutting them down in a series. That's going to happen. I hate to burst your bubble, but like, good pitchers are going to dominate the White Sox every now and then. And right now, the New York Yankees are better than the Chicago White Sox. They're hotter. They're playing better baseball. And they have lineup continuity every single night. You know what the top 4 are going to be in their lineup every single night, and all those guys are producing right now. Jose Abreu's not hitting well. Yasmani Grandal, up until tonight, not hitting well. Eloy's out of the lineup. Moncada's looking good. Tim Anderson's looking good. So is Luis Robert. Outside of those three, and Andrew Vaughn, outside of those four, that's half a lineup. You need the other guys to come up. If Grandal, Abreu, and Jimenez all start to play to their potential and be healthy, we know what this lineup can do. And the White Sox have Giolito, Cease, Lynn, Kopech. Kopech had a great game outside of one inning. And Cease had the weirdest stat line in the history of stat lines. He had a good and a bad
11
game.
11 Ks, right?
11 Ks, 6 earned. I mean, and he only went 4 innings. So he tied the MLB record for most strikeouts through 4 innings. And he had a bad, the Yankees took advantage of their contact. That's basically what the point is. But outside of that, even Cease had his stuff going. The Yankees just overpowered him for a couple innings there. So, the White Sox pitching will figure itself out. That'll match the hitting. I'm not to the point of concern yet. The Yankees are better than them right now. They're white hot. What are they? 22-8, 25-8.
They're ridiculous.
Yeah. And before that, the Guardians and the Red Sox looked kind of pedestrian against the White Sox. The White Sox were hitting. They were pitching well. Cease had that game where he had 11 strikeouts. Looked like the next, I don't know, whoever you want to name an all-time great pitcher. I mean, Chris Sale. It's just it's all going to come together. They got 5 in a row against the Royals coming up here, and then another 3 with the Yankees. Got to do your business against the Royals. Need that bat.
Got to do some tune-up, baby. Tune-up.
Yeah.
It's tune-up time.
Yeah.
That's what I like to see. So, yeah, I'm with you, Vinny. I think it's a little too early to pull the fire Frank Menachino card, especially when a lot of these guys are born hitters. I just don't think Jose Abreu is going to be this shitty all year. I'd be shocked to see that happen. So, with that said, let's move into this. Oh, Gonzo dropped off. Internet, that's all right. We know he'll be back with us at some point in the near to distant future. But for now, we're going to hop into the segmented portion of the show. And Vinny, we're going to talk about our buddy Tony La Russa in a segment that we like to call, Vinny, what do we call it?
La Russa's Locker.
Yes, Tony La Russa, the bane of our existence sometimes. And our other co-host who dropped off internet will be back to defend him mercilessly. But I think the three of us are pretty much aligned for the most part. But Missy, we'll let you start because I know Vinny's going to have an interesting review. But how are you viewing Tony La Russa, especially in the last week of baseball?
Oh man, well. Thanks for asking. Tony La Russa. No, I think my thing, especially with this team and the approach I try to take with baseball in general is to kind of stay lighthearted about everything because it can be so frustrating to the point where it ruins how you look at baseball. So when I talk about Tony La Russa, I'm not gonna lie, I think I'm so frustrated with him that I joke about this man 24/7 instead of insulting him now because I'm just like, sometimes he'll say stuff and I'm just like, yeah, just Tony being Tony, doing his old little old senile stuff. But I will say, I will go on the defending La Russa train as sometimes I get what La Russa is trying to do. If I even if I don't agree with it, I sometimes see where he's coming from. So as far as the last series with the Yankees, all I could do was kind of laugh. I felt like I was laughing a lot. Like I said, I was so frustrated to the point of laughing. Oh my God, that's my favorite video of him.
The best.
The Tony La Russa run, there's nothing better than the Tony La Russa run. He keeps his arms like right here and he does a little shoulder. I love it. But I do see where he comes from. I get it. I'll give him that. Oh, I love it. I love that. But overall this past week, it's just like shaking my head type stuff where I just have to laugh about some of the stuff I see him do because it's just I don't agree with it. Even going down to today when we were talking about Vaughn, I was like, I just don't. I get where his explanation, but I just don't agree with it. I think that's still just a silly move. La Russa as a person, though, I think he is a funny character and he doesn't try to be. That's my take on him.
I would agree. He's a character. I mean, he looks like he's taking a nap half the time. I think that's kind of half the fun. But Vinny, before we let Gonzo defend Tony, I got to get your scathing review because I've heard and read some of your articles. I just need to hear more. So hit us with it.
Yeah, I mean, Tony La Russa, it hasn't been a good start to the season. And he didn't have a good start to last season either, and then it came around. So it's not like I'm out here like chanting fire. I've never once said, although I have an article coming out on guys who would do better tomorrow. But outside of that, I've never really like said fire to like I've just been done with them for like a couple weeks now. It really started for me last week against the Yankees on Thursday when Cease had that game with 11 strikeouts and the bases were loaded and Giancarlo Stanton came up and he brought in Tanner Banks, a lefty, to face Giancarlo Stanton, one of the greatest right-handed hitters. One of the greatest right-handed hitters of the last 30 years, and the game was still very much winnable because Yohan Moncada tied the game. And then, right after that was Josh Donaldson, another one of the best righties of the last 30 years. Hits a 2-run bomb. It's just one of those things that I just couldn't understand. And then to me, batting Andrew Vaughn ninth is asinine. I'm sorry. I understand the logic, kind of like what Missy said, understand the logic of some of the stuff he does. I just don't agree with it. Andrew, second leadoff man is very much a thing. I played baseball all the way through college. I understand the concept of a second leadoff man. But guess what? Andrew Vaughn's not even a first leadoff man. He is a power hitting, middle of the order guy. And that's where he should be. The lowest he should be hitting on this team, healthy or not, is 7th. And even then, I think that's too low. I'd be batting him 4th these days with the way Abreu and Grandal have been hitting. I'd slide them down a little bit, let them get hot, and then maybe push him back up in the middle of the summer. But just batting Vaughn 9th, he'll get one less at bat in almost every game he plays than the rest of the guys in the lineup. I mean, you just look at the statistics. I follow a guy on Twitter, and I've actually had him on as a guest before, Neil Szymborski. He's actually a very, very good analytics guy from Fangraphs. And I don't fully trust analytics. I don't fully trust the eye test. I use both as tools. He said that depending on the lineup and whether or not it's the statistically good one or not is only the difference of a couple runs each year total. But I think it could be a big difference between big wins and big losses. And that's kind of what he tweeted at somebody asking him about the statistics behind Vaughn batting 9th today. Andrew Vaughn, as you saw, yes, today batting 9th. He had the opportunity with Engel on 3rd, no outs. Engel's not always going to hit a triple when Vaughn's batting 9th. That's just not always going to be the case. You know who's more likely to be on 2nd or 3rd when Vaughn comes to bat if he's in the middle of the order? Anderson.
Tim Anderson.
Moncada, Robert. I mean, how often does Tim Anderson get a hit these days? Wow, it seems like this guy. If you ever get on your sports books, Tim Anderson and Robert at 0.5 hits, parlay them to each get a hit, free money almost every single game. It's weird. Yeah. It's honestly weird. I've hit on it like 5 times already this season. But yeah, I just don't like – I also don't like the idea of not having lineup continuity. You look at the New York Yankees lineup, and it was basically the same every single day. I think Anthony Rizzo had Sunday off or Friday. But
it was Friday because I was there, and I was like, my wife wanted to see him, and then, you know, of course he didn't play.
Yeah, but for the most part, it's always LeMahieu, Judge, Stanton, Rizzo, or LeMahieu, Judge, Rizzo, Stanton. And those top 4, they're their 4 best hitters. They're at the top of the lineup. They earned it. They stay there. Someone gets hot, they'll move them up. But, you know, they always got their defensive-minded catcher playing. They got 2 pretty good defensive-minded catchers, but I'm not going to only talk about the Yankees. I just like what they do with their lineup. And you would never see like a LeMahieu. Well, LeMahieu's a good leadoff guy, so I guess maybe. But you would never see Judge bat 9th just because for any other reason other than he's the guy who can hit home runs and drive people in. And I see that from Andrew Vaughn. Obviously, he's not the game breaker that Aaron Judge is yet. We'll see. But I see Andrew Vaughn as a very, very good player. Am I okay with the 9 hitter being better than the 7 and 8 hitter? Yes. I am.
Yeah.
I used to like when Joe Madden would bat the pitcher 8th and a position player 9th. I used to like that. I understand the idea of the second. I just don't think that's Andrew Vaughn. If you told me they did it with, I don't know, who's a good player that probably could bat higher in the Berger, for example. I think Berger's power really kind of fell off. So if they kept him 9th, I'd be cool with it. But Andrew Vaughn, to me, he has the potential to be like a star hitter in this league.
I'm with you. I'm totally with you. Now we'll pass it over before we wrap up this segment to the guy that is choking on La Russa's chode, and that's Gonzo. Gonzo, tell us all about it.
I just understand the game of baseball and what is common between
I love how your first line, you like shit all over me. So go ahead.
All right. What's common between this year and last year? And that is what Tony has to deal with there's no continuity of our core due to health. And to begin the season like that, he's going to have to give guys roles that they haven't had before, decide what you can do with the lineup, the roster that he's given. In doing so, with like what, I don't know how much of, maybe a half of, or a quarter of AAA he had last year, Sox won 90 games, plus 90 games. This year, same thing is happening. We start off the season with injuries, and again, our offensive core, Eloy has been gone. We missed stretches of Johan. That's something that the Yankees didn't have to face this year, that the Sox had to face them with, is we haven't gone up toe-to-toe with our best hitters and pitchers with theirs. They're not going to face Velasquez and Keuchel in August, September. So to go with what Vinny was saying, you have to deal with the situation here. The best bats right now, Timmy, Robert, Johan, and Johan's only been back for 2 games, and it looks like he's on load management, which is another term that Tony has to deal with, is load management. And then also Vaughn. Now, what Vinny didn't bring up here was Vaughn was just brought up from injury. He's not the best bat at this moment. Before injury, yes, he was up there. Also, he was up there because, Tony did move him up in the 3-hole, and he was getting criticized for that. And he had a big bang in that stretch of a slump that we had, skepticism of him around. And quite frankly, when you have a bat like Vaughn's, you're going to put him 9th because, all right, Timmy, he's going to be batting leadoff. Your highest bat is going to be batting where he should be. Luis Robert, another prolific bat, is going to be batting 2nd because he gets the most at-bats in a season that he's going to continue to need batting, at-bats. So who else are you going to put at the bottom of the lineup that could bring that continuity to it? You're going to put Andrew Vaughn there at 9th. Also, for the reason that he's coming back from injury, you have to build that confidence over again. And again, it's load management for him for the rest of his season to bring that confidence up. Because, yes, Vaughn will be brought back into the lineup to the middle of the lineup. You guys know, Tony knows that. And you guys will see that later in the season. But at this moment, when you need continuity, this is quite the way to do it. Putting a bat like Vaughn's 9th, because from top to bottom, this lineup looks pretty damn good for tonight. And it's because of Vaughn being 9th.
Gonzo, I totally get what you're saying. I just can't. First off, your bit about him, coming back from injury and whatever, he was just raking. He's just raking coming back from injury. So it's not like he wasn't gone all that long. His hand's fine. I don't know. I don't think we have to like.
So he's raking down in AAA. That's not the pro level.
But he's still getting quality at bats.
He was raking down in AAA, and then Garrett Cole and Nestor Cortez shut him down.
But AAA is not the pro level. He's not to gain that confidence back at the pro level with his at bats.
Missy, what do you think?
God, I think so much stuff when the funny thing I always talk about on Southside Behavior is I'm like, no hot takes, no giving our takes, okay? Like, because I don't want to upset anyone. But my personal thing is at the end of the day, I think Vaughn should be batting higher than 9th. I get like Vinny was saying, yeah, he came back and the whole series with the Yankees, like, if we're gonna go to that, like, as far as the Russo and everything, like, just the Yankees were better. I feel like having judging all of our guys off of how they hit during that series with the Yankees is kind of like that whole series. I feel like we shouldn't be reminiscing too much on, because we don't have our best hitters against their best hitters, or our best pitchers against their best hitters and stuff like that. So to make any moves like with Vaughn based off of like anything but what he's done consistently throughout the season, not just the past couple games, I feel like I think it's a bad I don't know how to put it. Sorry. Sometimes I get a lot of thoughts at once, because I see like every side of like what you guys are arguing.
Sure. Yeah.
But, yeah.
And I think, with Tony, and I think we'll leave it at this, but I think we all can agree. All right, that's fine. But let me talk. I think we can all agree that we want Andrew Vaughn in the lineup, right?
Yeah.
Tony has not played Andrew Vaughn enough this season. I think we could all agree on that. So if I had to choose from Andrew Vaughn being in the lineup, batting 9th, or him not in the lineup, I'll definitely take him at 9 as opposed to not playing.
Yeah.
But I just don't like him at the bottom of the lineup. Gonzo, say your last piece, and then we're going to move on.
Well, again, like, for me, it's about continuity. And don't get me wrong, I've been on the Andrew Vaughn train since last June when he hit that opposite field home run off Chapman. And you guys know I've been on the Vaughn train.
Both
Vaughn and Cease. But, like, I told, again, a couple of minutes ago, I said he's going to be up in the middle of the lineup. But when you're trying to get continuity in this lineup coming when guys are getting healthy, it's not a bad way to start him 9th. That way, the lineup from 1 to 9 is pretty deep. Now, again, you're going to have Abreu 4, Grandal 5th. Abreu does well in Kauffman Stadium. Grandal does too. And again, tonight, what does Grandal do? Hit a 2-run bomb. Now, if you don't want to believe it from my voice on the meaning of continuity, take it from Scott Podsednik, because he was talking about it all last night on NBC Sports Chicago after the game. So go back and listen to him talk about continuity, and then you can come back and listen to me talk about why I can understand why Andrew Vaughn's batting 9th and why it does make sense at this point in the stage of the season, 30 games into the season, when there's 2/3 of the season to come, and there's going to be a lot of bouncing forth with the lineup, because Tony's going to figure out what he likes best going into the stretch of the season.
There you go, man. Nice way to sum it all up, Gonzo. I appreciate that. And before we dive into our next segment, I just want to point out, guys, I'm going to take Gonzo off of the screen. We're all going to be together now. Here we go. Johnny Cueto, 5 1/3 so far with only 2 hits and 6 strikeouts. He has only thrown 62 pitches, guys, so far through 5 1/3. So I just want to point that out.
I'm looking, which going back to we were talking about how I have a lag. I'm like kind of also like looking at the TV over here watching it. I'm on 60 pitches. I still haven't even gotten that far into the game. But yeah, if I seem distracted, I'm also trying to watch over here. But I think it's hopeful. I always like when we're starting to get people back from like Charlotte and stuff, and people back from being injured, and then also now Cueto starting. I'm like, it just makes me more excited going further into the summer, what it's going to look like, because what we look at the team right now, I feel like in 2 weeks we might have a drastically different. I think
that's a great point. I think this team's going to look a lot different in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, Eloy's close.
Mhm.
From what I understand, is he's getting close. Vinny, you might know more ear to the ground on that than I do, but I mean, he took BP the other day. He can't be that far off, right?
Yeah, I'm expecting. I don't believe Hector Gomez. I just don't. He's been wrong about pretty much anything White Sox related. The only thing he got right, White Sox related, was Eloy signing the extension before the season started in 2019. He did nail that, but pretty much anything White Sox related since then, and that's 3 years ago now, has been wrong. And I've DM'd with Hector before. I have great respect for him and what he does with his work, but I don't see Eloy being back a week from today. I will come on this show and admit I was wrong if he is. But I do think that report, combined with the fact that he's taken some BP at Guaranteed Rate Field before the last home series against the New York Yankees, Eloy will not take too long. It's certainly not a repeat of last year. That's the good news here. And when I think of lineup continuity, I think of each guy batting in the same spot every single game. They don't get that without Eloy coming back and being healthy for the most part. So hopefully it comes back as soon as possible.
I think we can all agree that we want Eloy back as soon as humanly possible, as healthily possible, I might add. We got a couple great questions in the chat we'll address before we move on. But John has asked us, has any pitcher gotten into the sixth with this few pitches this season? I don't think another White Sox starter has been this slow on pitch count into the sixth inning. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'd have to look it up, but I'd be shocked if anyone had this few pitches this far this season.
The only thing that comes to mind that might have came close was the Giolito 7-inning game.
I was going to say define few pitches because quality pitch counts ceased it twice to 7 and Giolito that once. So the 3 performances by 2 solid pitchers, this season alone.
And also, those guys are pitching against better teams than the Royals, but that's all right. Either way, good stuff coming out of Johnny Cueto. I do want to address this question from Travis. Do we look at getting a pitcher at the deadline if we're serious about winning? The resounding answer from me is yes. Do we have the same answer across the board here? Vinny?
I would say maybe. I know that's like a way to a cop out, but if Cueto pitches well and he's their number 5, or if Keuchel, Cueto, and Velasquez combine for bullpen / 5th starter, rotate them in and out, and then you run Giolito, Cease, Kopech, Lynn, I would ride with those 4 in the playoffs. I would rival it with any team in the American League when they're on. I can't think of a team that has a 1 through 4 quite that dominant at their best. Of course, those guys are capable of getting shelled. We saw it in the playoffs against the Astros. But like when it comes to what we know as their best, I'm not sure there's a big 4 as good as that in baseball or in the American League. So I'd be cool if they got another guy, but I'm not sure it's the top priority. I would address second base as soon as possible.
That was going to be my next question. You perfectly queued it up. I was going to ask Missy, does this team need a second baseman more than a pitcher?
I was just about to say, I completely agree with Vinny. I think pitching, I don't think it's absolutely necessary to be going that route. I'd rather do second base too. Like you said, I think our pitching is for playoffs at the end of the day will be good. I think we'll have a good 4. And then, seeing how Cueto's doing, like it's hopeful. Obviously, it's just the first game, but I would address other things than pitching right now. I think we have our moments, we have our games where pitching, we're questioning the bullpen a lot, but I think overall I've personally liked what I've seen with pitching. So I would turn the attention somewhere else and probably second base.
Yeah, and I want to say something about that comment from Travis, but they have to be at their best. Every team in baseball needs their pitchers to be at their best to win the World Series. And the White Sox are capable of seeing that. We'll just see if they do. But like the Dodgers pitchers weren't at their best in the playoffs any year except one. Same thing with Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay kind of got screwed by their dumb manager in the World Series in 2020. But, every player, you need your best players to be your best players in the postseason. If they're not that, then you won't win. That goes for everyone, not just the White Sox.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still
that's
going
a good
with
point.
I'm still going with another pitcher. It'd be solid to have a rotation of 1 through 5, eating up innings going late into the season. And that's just a bigger, headache for Tony to decide what rotation he's going to go with into the postseason. But at least he'll save his bullpen innings with, rotation of 5 eating up innings throughout the season. But also you can't forget that Berger is down there in AAA that can come up to play second base. And I feel bad for the kid. I feel bad for the kid because that's a dude that had great exit velocity on his bat, and he was nailing the baseballs. But with the dead ball and the cold, it affected his stats, and they sent him down. So it just that's a guy whose swing should be here.
Spoiler alert, Gonzo, we had Jake's girlfriend Ashlyn Carmella on the show a few weeks ago, and she since reached out to me, said that her and Jake want to come on the show together. So that's going to be exciting. Looking forward to that in the near future, hopefully while he's on the White Sox. So
yeah, there's no doubt about that, Joe. Hopefully whatever trade they do make doesn't end up to be a dud like a couple of the clowns we're going to talk about in this next segment called Adam Dud of the Week.
You suck. You suck.
Stupid. Lousy. No excuse.
What a dud. What a total dud.
Yes. That's the wonderful sounds of us thinking of players that totally sucked balls this week. And there's been a few of them. We've got a handful to choose from. I don't see why we shouldn't let our guest lead off with her choice here. So,
oh God,
Missy, why don't you lead the way with a player that you think pooped the bed this week?
Jesus Christ! Right? This was probably the worst series for me to comment on because I was like in and out of watching this series, and the one game I did watch, I got to watch the full game was the game we really I'll just go with that one. Joe Kelly. Joe Kelly really kind of messed this up. In the it was the first game of the series against the Yankees, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I'm getting my days mixed up now. But yeah. And I just it was honestly
I have his wonderful stat line is listed below you right now.
Oh,
look at
no,
that stat line.
See, it's so heartbreaking because I think it was literally 2 days before when he started with the Guardians. I saw him. I was like, God, this team is so good and smart and sexy. I love this team so much. And then he came out against the Yankees, and I honestly, it left a bad taste in my mouth for him for a while now. It's probably going to still be like that for a while, but if I had to choose someone, he was the one I actually in real time was watching and just shaking my head the whole time at it. So
yeah, definitely a rough week for Joe Kelly. Yeah. But I mean, you can't even say week. He had one rough day because he didn't get any other.
I know. I get to. That's the other thing is I feel like a lot of times whenever you talk about anyone, you're just. We base it on one game. That I've been trying not to do that so often as I've been getting my getting let down game by game, and I'm trying not to do that. So I'll give
Kelly was a good choice, though.
I'll let him have his redemption.
Yeah, but you made a good choice. It was about as bad of an appearance as you could have. So good choice there with your Adam Dud of the week.
Yeah.
Gonzo, who do you have for this week's Dud of the week?
So I also have Joe Kelly, like what Missy just talked about. I was expecting a lot from him coming off of his injury. And believe me, I believe he'll get better as the season goes along. What I did see out of his performances was the movement on his pitches did look good. That is definitely something that I at least am optimistic about because I didn't expect that movement to be as good as it was that he had. It was just the control for him that got the best out of him. And when you don't have your control versus a lineup like the Yankees with the bats that they have, they're going to barrel you up and they're going to blow close games that you come in right off of injury from.
For sure.
But yeah, Joe Kelly.
Awesome, Gonzo. Appreciate it, man.
My day.
Yeah. All right, bud. Good choice, obviously. But Vinny, I know there's a lot of crappy performances this week. Who you got?
I want to make Missy and Gonzo feel better about their pick of Joe Kelly, because there's something that I noticed that really caught me off guard. If you follow me on Twitter, you know that I think Major League umpiring is complete dog crap. And these guys have just been as inconsistent now as they've been, because it used to not bother me, because I don't think it used to be this bad. Right now, we're going through an era where Major League pitching or Major League umpiring is just not bad. On Thursday night, Joe, you can pull it up now. On Thursday night, Joe Kelly got himself to 2 outs. And I just sent this chart to Joe just now to get it on the screen. This is Joe Kelly's 4th batter of the game. He walked the batter before. So there was a runner on first, 2 outs. He threw strike 3 twice to Gleyber Torres. You see pitch 5 and you see pitch 6. The rule of baseball is that all that has to happen is part of the baseball has to pass home plate through the strike zone. Just part of the ball, not the whole ball. And as you could see, 5 and 6 both nick the strike zone at the bottom, and both were called balls. Joe Kelly was specifically not happy about number 6. 5 could go either way, I understand, but by definition, 5 was a strike. If there were electronic umpires, he would have been rung up on 5. And that he unraveled because of one bad call. Joe Kelly, you need to not unravel when you get one bad call. When you get a bad call that forces a walk instead of a strikeout to end the inning, and the whole putting in Tanner Banks versus Stanton, none of that would have ever happened if there wouldn't have been some bad umpiring on that at bat. And Joe Kelly, as Gonzo pointed out, his stuff was nasty. All those pitches, he got strike 3. It should have been called. You can't unravel after that, though. That's where I'm still placing blame on Joe Kelly for his bad week, because you see guys like Liam Hendricks. If Liam Hendricks walks a guy, what does he do? He fires right back, right down the middle, throwing the heat again. Joe Kelly unraveled. We'll see if he's able to bounce back from that. Just because, so I don't want to become the 3rd straight person to pick Joe Kelly. I'll roll with Jose Abreu. I would have said Grandal, but he hit a home run tonight, so he's in my good graces as of this point. Jose Abreu, 1 for 20, 0.5 batting, 0.05 batting average, no RBIs, 4 strikeouts. Listen, April Jose was only good once in his life. It was his rookie season. Run rookie of the month for rookie of the month, April 2014, I want to say it was. I think he set a White Sox franchise record that month for most home runs by a single player in a month from a rookie. Since then, April's not been that good. May, colder in Chicago than usual this year, just starting to heat up within the last week or so. Not an excuse, because it's going to be cold in the playoffs if they make it. So Abreu needs to figure out how to stay warm or something. Hopefully they play like the Angels or something so they can get some road games over there. But I don't know. I just – something feels a little different than normal, just because it seems like his body language is – he doesn't look like he's having as much fun. Maybe it's because Eloy's not there. I know that guy puts a smile on my face just by thinking about him. But totally. Jose Abreu, I believe in him. I'll never stop. Here's the thing. I'll never stop believing in Jose Abreu. 35, I don't buy any of that crap. Josh Donaldson's 36, I think. And he's still sick. So Jose Abreu, I hate this segment because I don't like crapping on players, especially ones that have like done good stuff. But some of them deserve to be crapped on. Jose's that this week. He was not good.
Not good. Definitely a dud this week. Hopefully he turns it around this week. I'm going to go with A.J. Pollock again for the 2nd straight week. A.J. Pollock, 3 for 17, only batting 176 with 4 strikeouts. A.J. has had some of the worst at-bats I've seen this season. That strikeout yesterday against the Yankees, a terrible, terrible, tough swing. I had it in our Put On Your Socks video this morning. A.J. Pollock looks absolutely lost out there sometimes. And then there's times where I think he's ready to fire on all cylinders. I know the reason we signed A.J. Pollock is because he is a seasoned player. He's won, I believe, 2 World Series now, right, Vinny? Or at least 1.
He just has the 1.
He's got the 1. Okay. Well, either way, this is a guy that's been in the playoffs. He's a guy that's great in September. He's great in October. That's why they got him. But right now, he's just not there. So I don't know what needs to happen. I don't know if they need to move him around the lineup, give him some more confidence. But A.J. Pollock, you are my Adam dud of the week. And, we're going to dive into the next segmented portion of the show just in a second, which we're going to talk about the opposite of a dud. But before we do, I wanted to give a second to Missy to talk a little bit about about Southside Behavior. I'm going to actually pull up the TikTok, and I figured that would be a nice little segue in the middle of the show to just talk about some fun stuff going on.
Yeah, for sure. You could see I promoted the podcast, the first video.
I did
but
see
yeah,
that. I'm blowing that up.
You should hear my roommates. They'll hear me in here like recording on my own, and I'll be like, "Was that good enough?" No, and they're always like laughing outside my door. They're like, "Just post it." But yeah, so I did that like 5 minutes before I hopped on here. Yeah, so this is Southside Behavior. It's our TikTok account. We're kind of just it kind of stemmed from I have a main TikTok account, just Missy Carroll or Missy.Carroll. If you look it up, blew up on there a while ago. I started posting me and my friends going to Sox games, and my favorite quote was someone commented, "Why are you all, or like, you guys are all doing this on a Tuesday night?" And I'm like, hell yeah, we are. Like, this is White Sox baseball, baby. And so people thought it was really fun. It was they're really curious because I guess not a lot of people in baseball celebrate the way we do, I guess. And so I had the idea last summer, let's start what if I actually just started an account and started to just make a small brand, just promoting camaraderie amongst White Sox fans, the Southside Chicago in general. I'm there's
shotgun and beers.
I'm shotgun queen on the Missy Carroll account, so I had to drag that in. And then just all my friends help me out. Everyone who likes to go to the games with us, who tailgates with us. We have a whole big group chat. So it's me running everything by myself. So it gets a little hectic sometimes, but basically it's just to promote just like how fun the White Sox fan base is. Highlight. I would love to, once I get back in Chicago and start going to games, I want to start like interviewing fans at games more, just talking to different types of people at the tailgates and stuff, and just kind of promoting like just the fan base in general. There's a problem with the MLB keeping younger fans and just in general in the fan base. And so I took a course this semester talking all about how to reimagine sports fandom in general. And I took on the White Sox as my project. And that's how I started Southside Behavior. And I just studied a lot about just like marketing, how like brainstorming ideas on how to grow the MLB fan base. And I thought a very good start would be to promote the White Sox fan base. Because if you scroll through some like comments every so often on my videos, I'll get people being like, you make me want to go to a White Sox game now, or like, you know, like I don't even like baseball and I want to go to a game and stuff like that. Yeah,
there's one right there. Yeah. Might go to a Sox game just to post up at the tailgate with you.
I just do it. But yeah, like see people will be like, let's go to a game. I want to like I've gotten emails people asking where I tailgate and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, anything to get people more into baseball, even if you become a casual fan, or even just anything to get people to realize how I love baseball. It's been a big part of my life, and just turning more people into showing them what I see in baseball, how it's fun, how it's such a great thing for me and my friends to all rally around something that we love together. And I feel like a lot of people don't see that. So that's kind of why I started Southside Behavior. We're planning on going to a lot of games. If you ever see us, let us know. I get recognized a lot down here from Southside Behavior right now. And I always tell them, I'm like, find me at a Sox game. If you want to go to a Sox game, I'll see you there. Like that's when we can talk. And so, yeah,
that's awesome.
That's pretty much the gist of it.
Perfect. And we'll let you do another plug at the end of the show, but I just wanted to in the middle of the show, talk a little bit about it. And, you know, while we have you talking, I'll have you set up our next segment. What was Hawk's famous call when someone hit a home run? What did he say?
Wait, what?
Hawk Harrelson. What was Hawk's famous call when someone hits a home run? What was his catchphrase?
Put it on the board.
That's right. And that's what this segment's called. It is our Put It on the Board segment. So let's dive right in.
Way back! He looks up! You can put it on the board! Yes!
Yes, this is our Put It on the
Board.
Joe, you had to have pulled that. You had to have pulled that sound from a game from a very long time ago, though. Because I've always meant to say this to you because we always get right into the conversation after you throw that little graphic up. But you hear DJ say, yes, Steve Stone has replaced DJ for like 10 years now. That's an old clip, whatever that home run is from.
I just love the call there specifically. So I listened literally when I was putting this together, I literally pulled probably like 800 home runs, and I listened to all of the calls, and that's the one I went with. So, little bit of background for everyone out there. But the Put It on the Board segment, Missy, is the exact opposite of the one that we just did. It's the players that knocked it out of the park this week, literally.
All right, I follow.
And there's been quite a few players that have done really, really well this week across the board. I'll let you lead things off again since you are our guest. Who are you going to pick for your Put It on the Board player this week? Just someone that made you happy. Don't even worry about stats.
I love Gavin Sheets. I'm a big Sheets stan. And I think if we're even going back to when was his first? Wasn't the Guardians actually? Wasn't it way?
There you go. I got a stat line for you right there.
Yeah. I think he started, wasn't it the Guardians was his first one, right? His first home run.
I believe so.
Week? Yeah. When that happened, I remember, I think I got up for 1 second. He hit it, and I was like, I always had faith in him. I've always had faith in Sheets. I don't know what it is about him. He just gives me I don't know. I like rooting for the underdog of the lineup. I think that's my thing. So when people are like, oh, he hasn't been hitting lately, especially Sheets. We were going down that train where we're like, what does Gavin Sheets even do in this lineup? I was like, guys, one day he's gonna do it. He's gonna do it. I'm so happy. And that day came. Day came last week. Yeah, 2 home runs last week, and I just couldn't be happier. I'm a big Sheets fan. I couldn't even tell you really why. I just think I love him. I think he's fun.
Well, I will tell you that Vinny and I had the pleasure of interviewing him in the off season on the show.
Way.
And Gavin is one of the nicest people I've ever met. Vinny, you can vouch for this. He gave us 40 minutes, maybe a half hour.
Every home run Gavin Sheets has hit this season, I tweeted the picture of it with the caption that Gavin Sheets is my best friend. And he just is. I love that guy. He's a friend of the program, and I love seeing him succeed. I was gonna pick him if you didn't, just because, like I said, if there are 3 or 4 guys who had outstanding weeks, I'm taking Gavin Sheets as the tiebreaker just simply because he's my friend. So I'll pick somebody else, but I'll let you finish. But yeah, we love Gavin Sheets.
Oh, I knew he was like a good guy. Maybe that's the other thing is I could tell like he just looks like such a good guy. I'm a big fan of personality too. It's not all about the stats, okay? No, I just like when guys on the team have really good vibes. And I always thought Gavin Sheets looked like that type of guy that was just really nice for the clubhouse. And I was just really excited when he finally got a home run. It was a long time coming, it felt like for me. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Gavin is the man. So shout out to
jealous.
Gavin Sheets.
Yeah, I'm going to say shout out. I'm very jealous.
He sucks at right field though, and I would tell him that straight to his face.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot. It was that same game because it kind of almost went over my head when he had that error, and then he made up for it right away. I think in his head he was like, "It's time. I gotta."
Yeah. He was fired up after that home run. He was pretty lit up.
Oh, he was.
If I want to stay here.
I'm pretty sure I made a TikTok up for him because
I actually think I have the video of the home run from last week. So let's just watch it because it's great.
Yeah.
Here we go.
And Gavin hits a bullet to right field. This is gone. An absolute missile from Gavin Sheets. The wind was no match, and it's 4-1.
Pitching coach comes out, and you're looking for something in the strike zone, and that's the way the ball gets out in right field.
You love to see it. You love to see it.
So yeah, Gavin had a great week. So great choice.
Mm-hmm.
We will defer now to Vinny for his pick for put it on the board player. I know it's going to be Gavin Sheets, but we'll go with his 1B choice.
Yeah. So I'm actually. You guys are going to think I'm crazy. This might be the first and last time he gets featured, at least by me on this. I'm going to give it to Dallas Keuchel because Dallas Keuchel, he went out there on Saturday night. I was there, and I saw it firsthand. He was really good. It was his first really good game in almost 2 years, because some people were saying stuff. Oh, he was so good against Boston. He gave up 8 hits. Okay. You don't give up 8 hits and come unscathed very often. And I think it was a little bit of an overrated good performance by Dallas Keuchel. Now the results were there. They won, they completed the sweep of the Boston Red Sox on Mother's Day. Shout out, Mom. I really enjoyed seeing him succeed like that. The only thing that bugged me was coming out and saying that he was mad he didn't get to go in the 6th. Dude, your Cy Young in 2016 doesn't earn you the 6th inning in 2022. Okay, like, we get it. You won the Cy Young. You won the World Series. You were great. You've earned the right to have respect for your major league career and all that stuff. It's all true. But I'm happy they took him out after the 5th, because every 6th inning has been a disaster for him, including the Boston game. He would have had a slash line of 0 earned runs had they taken him out of the 5th in that game. So, Dallas Keuchel, gold star to you, my man. You did well. I'm happy to see it. Hopefully, Johnny Cueto doesn't fully take your job, because he might.
Especially after tonight. Yeah. Cueto looking good. All right. I'll toss it to our buddy Gonzo for next. But, of course, Keuchel, I agree with you, Vinny. I think that's probably the only time he'll make this, because he's been a dud every single week the rest of the season so far. So I guess we'll take the moment to put him in to put it on the board player. But Gonzo, who lit up the scoreboard for you this week, my friend?
For me, it's my boy Lou Bob, as Joe likes to say. He bet like 400 on the week and continued his hitting streak. Was it 13? I think Vinny is a 13-game hitting streak, was it?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, and plus that clutch hit versus our oldest Chapman in the game on Saturday to drive Timmy home situation. That's what big boys do. And the odds for 2022 MVP is looking better by the day, I'd like to say. But hopefully he keeps it up and keeps this offense going. So.
Yeah, my MVP choice for last season, but he got injured. So, but it's
that's
very,
the first
very
time
strong.
I ever attended a walk-off too. If you guys never been to a game where there's a walk-off, I'm not going to say I highly recommend it because you don't get to choose.
Yeah,
but
I highly recommend it. Shut up.
Yeah, I highly recommend it, dude.
And we have a clip of that, in-game clip of that that was shared to us. We have to attach that somewhere in there. Of the walk-off by Braggs sent it to us.
Yes, I have the video of the highlight video as well, but I have to go find it.
I was just saying that our actual game in person.
Oh,
clip,
in stadium from Braggs. Yeah.
Stadium clip was impressive, and I'm glad that we got that shared.
It's so weird how good at that he is. Like he's Braggs in the stands for a reason. I was in the stands and I could never do anything like that. I thought it was the best put on your socks of the season from me. That's the best.
There's no doubt. You were hammered, Vinny, weren't you?
No, I actually really wasn't. I was high on Luis Robert and Tim Anderson heroics. And dude, Dallas Keuchel doing well. Guys, I've always kind of had like a love for Dallas Keuchel. I hate that he sucks now. Like in 2017, when they were with the Astros and they were like, how do you feel? Or it was 2018. How do you feel about the World Series hangover? He goes, we're not the Cubs. Oh my God. That just made me so happy. Like I want Dallas Keuchel to succeed so bad. He's kind of an a-hole. He reminds me of how I would be if I was a major league pitcher. Like, I just want him to succeed so bad. So that game as a whole is a reason why it seemed like I was hammered off my ass when I made that video.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. And I'm going to stall for like 10 seconds because I'm uploading the put on your socks just so we can see that clip because it's absolutely fantastic. I watched it and I was in bed and my kid had just fallen asleep and I was like looking at the video on my phone. I'm just cackling. I'm like, oh, Vinny, dude, that's fantastic. So I think I stalled.
The great thing about this vid, I said the great thing about this clip is like this is like the first time I actually show emotion that you'll see from me. But then you just have Vinny obliterated right after me. I'm like, shit, like I can't even compete with that emotion right now.
I need to start a TikTok and start acting like that.
You'll blow up.
I'll probably go nowhere with it, but
you'll be surprised.
All right. Well, without further ado, let's take a look at this. I haven't made my pick yet, but I don't even care because I really want to watch this video. So here's the put on your socks from the walk-off the other day. Just be entertained by Vinny because it's fantastic. Here we go.
Good morning. It's time to put on your socks. Yesterday, the Chicago White Sox had a walk-off win over the New York Yankees at Guaranteed Rate Field. It was one of the most electric games of the entire season. Dallas Keuchel had the best performance that he's had in almost 3 years. Now, it's time to take the series split tomorrow when the New York Yankees are right back here to try and salvage the series. It's going to be a great time. This place is the best to be over the summer. You're not going to want to miss it. Luis Robert, you get the gold star, my man. You're the best player on this team, and we love you. And as always, let's go Sox!
Yo, what up, White Sox fans? Put on your socks as the Sox last night got one from the Yankees, finally. And let's take a look back at the pitching side of it. Dallas Keuchel had a masterful performance. Graveman came in and pitched 2 innings on 18 pitches. Solid work from him. And Tony put Liam Hendricks out there for 5 outs and got the win at the end of the day. On the offensive side of it, Moncada with a big boom and a walk-off by Luis Robert. Unbelievable job. And today, the Sox are going to send out Michael Kopech versus Cortez. Lou Bob's going to continue the hitting streak today. Boys, let's get it done.
Vinny, let me just tell you that's always fantastic.
I'm a clown. I don't know what to tell you,
dude. No, you're not a clown. That was fantastic.
It was electrifying.
It was electrifying. And speaking of electrifying, for my pick for the Put It on the Board Player of the Week, I'm going to go with none other than Tim Anderson. This is the guy that I like to call the straw that stirs the drink here for the White Sox. When he gets on base, the team generally wins. 364 this week, stolen bag, 3 runs scored, 2 ribbies. I mean, Timmy's just getting it done. I believe he leads the league in batting average, if I'm not. At least he did a couple days ago. He's got to be close.
You are correct. He has a bunch of hits tonight, too. I believe you're correct. I'll check for you.
Thank you. So, Tim Anderson, easy choice here. TA has just been firing on all cylinders, and I think that's how this White Sox team continues. I think the recipe for success is to continue that. There's no doubt about that. But Gonzo, this next segment is yours. The whole chunk of the season, I've been preparing a video that you've sent me. I'm not going to lie. It's totally weird having you here to actually do the segment. So I guess we'll just cue up the segment. Why don't you tell us what the segment is called?
Segment is White Sox Weekly.
That's right. We're going to go over the week ahead for the White Sox, and Gonzo likes to call it White Sox Weekly. Here's the intro video. right, Gonzo, why don't you take things away and talk about the week that's coming up for the White Sox?
You know, Joe, what's great about me coming back is we'll get to work on our transitioning. Because it took me a second to remember that this was White Sox Weekly and not put on your socks. So
that's all
Here we
right. I was ready in case you fumbled it. It's fine. It was good. Good job.
we got 4 games in this series to begin off the week. Monday through Wednesday at Kauffman Stadium. We have 1 game tonight as we talk with Cueto and Brad Keller. Keller actually had a pretty solid performance versus us, surprisingly, last time earlier on in the year. And as we've seen, he got beat up a little bit tonight, and Johnny Cueto has been off to a hot start. And we have an update, Joe, on Cueto while I about to transition to.
He capped off the 6th inning, and then Matt Foster got them out of the 7th.
Awesome. So far,
yeah. So
good.
Cueto's final stat line for you, Gonzo. He went 6 innings, 2 hits, 2 walks, and 7 strikeouts with 0 earned runs.
God damn. How many pitches?
81.
That's masterful. And you said it was 6 innings?
He probably could have went 7, but the 6th inning had a little traffic on the base paths, so they went to Matt Foster.
And that was his second time through the lineup then?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. As soon as you get some traffic on the base paths your second time through, you're probably not going to go the third way through. So good job for Tony getting Foster in there. Hopefully the boys can finish this game strong and go to our doubleheader tomorrow. And usually I'm really good with these matchups, or at least predicting them when they're kind of sketched before the week starts. So we'll see how. I know there hasn't been anything confirmed, but I'm going to take a guess here with these doubleheader tomorrow that you're going to see Dylan Cease.
Well, Cease is confirmed for the first game.
Right. He's confirmed for the first game. As you can tell, their Royals haven't released anything. Game 2, hopefully we're going to see Giolito. Hopefully he comes back from his stint. I think you're going to see Greinke in one of those 2 games.
You should see him in, at least right now, we'll probably see him on Wednesday. But, it depends what they do tomorrow.
Yeah. So I've seen a couple of things out there. If Greinke's not tomorrow, it'll be Wednesday. You see Vince Velasquez going Wednesday. Then should be Dallas Keuchel on that 4th game. So depending on how, if Giolito goes or not tomorrow, you'll see Vince Velasquez in there and then Keuchel on Wednesday. Carlos Hernandez is that last pitcher that the Royals are going to toss out at us. So that's the 4 games in 3 days, Monday through Wednesday. Then we have an off day before we head off to the new Yankee Stadium. We got 3 games.
We actually do not have an off day, Gonzo.
Oh no, we don't have an off. Shit, I thought the doubleheader. All right, that's true. All right, we don't have an off day. Sorry, guys. But we do go to New York on Friday, Friday through Sunday, 3-game stretch. You'll likely see a recap of the Sunday game on Friday of Kopech versus Cortez. So hopefully we go into that matchup with some hot bats versus Cortez. And now Vinny did bring up the umpiring. I will admit that was pretty bad on Sunday. Right after Kopech lost his command the second, you saw Cortez on the top of the 3rd get a lot of pitches that were off the plate called in his favor that really kept him in a groove. And to go along with the officiating, it's a new era for umpires. A lot of the guys have retired, so you're going to see a lot of guys at the pro level in their groove, and it's gonna be tough for a couple of years until that gets honed down. Their craft gets honed down. But anyways, back to the weekend series. Like I said, Kopech versus Cortez likely. Saturday is shaping up to be probably, if I had to guess, Giolito and Severino. And then after that, it'd probably be Cease versus Talion on the Yankees.
There you go, man. Interesting week. I know none of us want to talk about it, but we have to go back and play the Yankees on their home turf now. I know no one's really looking forward to it. Missy, you had some interesting reactions on TikTok to the Yankees series and the sorrows that you had to drown in alcohol. But what are you looking forward to or hating or looking least forward to against the Yankees again this weekend?
You know, from a personal standpoint, running everything on Southside Behavior, trash talking, I fight for my life a little bit against Yankees fans on there. But honestly, as far as like the team wise, I'm ride or die. So no, I kind of have a very weird inkling that we're going to be prepared this next time that comes around. Do I think I think it will just be better. I think it will be better. I'm not overly confident that things will be that we are at our best right now. But the only thing about the Yankees coming up this week is with every matchup, I have to think about the opposing fans that flood the comments, and how I have to fight for the White Sox fans' lives in the comment section. Gets brutal. It gets very brutal.
Yankee fans can be brutal. I dealt with some trolls this week too on our Put On Your Socks videos, and I even flat out said, I said, yo, props to the Yankees, man. You guys are just knocking us around, and you're doing really well. And the guy like still continued to like shit talk me, and I'm like, dude, I just propped your team. Like
exactly. I could be so nice, and they still come after you, man. I always give it up. I'm like, when we get outplayed, I'm like, we got outplayed. As simple as that. Like nothing I could personally do about it. It's just, it sucks. Good game. See you next time. But it's mostly I will say there's some Yankee fans. My favorite Yankee fan on there always puts, I'm a Yankee fan, in parentheses, sorry about that. Like they apologize that they're even Yankees fans. But they've been brutal. I'm not excited for that series in terms of logistically what I'm gonna have to deal with, but I'll do it. I mean,
Vinny, you're muted. You're muted, Vinny.
I deal with the same thing.
It's the worst.
The New Jersey Devils fans, 90% of them are Yankee fans.
Oh.
So when the White Sox play the Yankees, I actually hate it. Because half of my Twitter following is people who follow me for the Devils, and the other half are people that follow me for the White Sox. So when those two teams cross up against each other, and then I deal with it when the Devils play the Blackhawks. The White Sox fans are mad at me for like not cheering on the Blackhawks, and it's so funny, the dynamics when the two towns come together. And then I always take Chicago's side on the pizza argument.
I know.
Make fun of them on that too.
That's the one thing. Someone was like, how did that L taste? I go, disgusting, kind of like your pizza. And they're like, whoa. I'm like, okay. I'm like, you just annihilated us. Just take your win and like hit the road. Okay, go to your next series.
And the funny thing is, the best pizza is actually in New Haven, Connecticut, not Chicago or Illinois, or not Chicago or New York. So
I don't know what that
one of these days
like, but
it's like,
I mean,
it's underground pizza, like the underground.
Is there literally is there a bad piece of pizza that exists though? I don't think the answer is yes.
No.
That's true. Tomato bread, a little bit of sausage on top.
You got cheese.
I'll eat it.
Yeah.
I'll eat it. I'll eat it no matter what style.
Chef's kiss. Yeah, good stuff.
I'm just gonna say that's false. All right. With where my career has taken me this past year on both coasts, I've been in Georgia, I've been in San Diego. There's a couple good places out here in San Diego, but overall it's not impressive. In Georgia, there's nothing good, no good pizza I found out there.
I've gotten that answer I've said the same thing as you before, Joe. I've said, is there such thing as a bad slice of pizza? Like all pizza is good pizza. Bad pizza is still kind of good. And then people who have been on the West Coast are like, I don't know about that.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot West Coast. Like, what do they have on the West Coast? Just pizza? Like they don't have anything like any real
good
like
seafood, right?
Seafood, I guess. Yeah, it's not pizza.
Well,
fish tacos, right?
San Diego is the Mexican culture, so we got Mexican food and then seafood.
Yeah.
Well, hey, nothing wrong with that either. But keeping this show chugging along. Now we've made it to our pick to click portion of the show. Missy will let you join us for all the good fun. So last week's pick to click, I'm going to update this to say last week and not this week. Mm-hmm. Last week's picks to click. Here we go. I went with Tim Anderson. Gonzo went with Luis Robert. Zim took Yoan Moncada. And Vinny took Yasmani Grandal. It was between me and Gonzo with Timmy and Luis, but Luis bat 429 this week. So I'm going to go ahead and give it to Gonzo for his third win of the year. So Gonzo, with that said, you win, and then you get to pick first in this week's pick to click.
Wait, there's a standing. I thought Vinny had 3. Do I have 2? Or
I believe we both have 2.
Okay.
And but this would put you to 3.
This puts you to 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I lost track of our picks to click.
Joe, you got screwed by Luis Robert. I'm like, Tim Anderson's stats are unreal.
Yeah.
But
I know.
That was a close one, but I'm glad for the victory. And Lou Bob had a really outstanding week. I'm just glad they began that hitting streak off yesterday. Otherwise, that my put your socks on would have been wrong. But glad Lou Bob got after it yesterday. And this week, I think I'm gonna go with Dylan Cease with potential 2 starts this week. I think he's gonna have an outstanding performance in Kansas City tomorrow, and then he should have a game on the back end versus the Yankees. I know they got some barrels on him. They had a couple barrels, but he was pretty good in that performance versus the Yankees. I like to see what he can do in round 2 with a little confidence and a little bit more if he's a little bit more efficient on his control on some of those pitches. At least more focus on the counts, because some of those 2-2 fastballs that he let over the plate, Judge cranked, and I think now he knows how to deal with them a little bit, so he can try to be more efficient with his counts and not give up so many barrels like he did this last time. And I'd like to see him get a victory, pull one for us, so we can actually see what he can do versus the quality teams of the AL.
I like it. All right, so Dylan Cease with Gonzo. I'm going to give myself second place and second pick. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'm going to go with my same pick as last week. I'm going to ride with Tim Anderson because one of these days he's going to lead the team in all statistics, and maybe it's this week. So, Timmy, keep it going, and hopefully that means we have a 5-game win streak against the Royals. So I'm going to ride with Tim Anderson. So then it was between Vinny. Vinny, I'll let you go next. Who are you going to pick?
I'm taking Yoan Moncada. I think
get a pick in. Not to cut you off, Vinny. I was curious if Zim got a pick into Joe.
He did. He texted me.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm going to take Yoan Moncada. I went back and forth with Tim Anderson and Luis Robert. Obviously, Joe took TA because I don't think I've ever seen a player have that good of stats and not even come close to winning a pick to click. Like Luis Robert was just so good last week. But at the same time, I have a little bit of a feeling about Yoan. I don't know what it is. He's got off to a pretty good start. The power's been there for the most part, which is something that's been a criticism of his over the last 2 years or so. If he could keep the on-base percentage up and get the power going just a little bit more than we've seen in the last couple of years, I think he could be a very, very, very good player in this league and even be one of those impact type players. And I hope to see a big week from him. It's his first full week, so let's go.
There you go. First big time week out of Moncada. I like the optimism there, Vinny. I will let our guest, Missy, make a pick. It could be someone that's already been picked. It doesn't have to be anyone. So
I was 100%. Sorry. I was going to say Moncada too, because I just have the same feeling as you, Vinny. I just feel like he's back and he has a lot of power, and it's kind of a feeling from me, just his energy that I've been seeing him bring to his at bats, and I don't know, just seeing him come back gives me a lot of it makes me really happy seeing him back with us. So and just seeing what he's been putting out so far. I know he's making some errors here and there and stuff, but I'm not too worried about all of that. But yeah, if I can choose the same one as someone else, I would say Moncada. That was what I was gonna say.
All right. I like it. Yoan Moncada getting a lot of love. We'll see. Hopefully he can live up to the expectations. That's what it's all about. And Zim texted me his top 3 options before the show started for his pick. He's going to, well, of course, his first pick was Cease. He didn't get Cease. The second pick was TA. He didn't get that. But he did get his third pick, which was Kendall Graveman, which I think is a great pick because he was great out of the pen this week. So just quick recap for everybody.
I'm sorry, but I just see Vinny's face, and I remember how
this show is such a jinx.
Zim was on you last week about picking Grandal, so I would love for you to rip him apart for picking a reliever.
I think we're laughing for different reasons. Graveman just gave up like a bomb to Mary.
I was just I was waiting. I was waiting for someone to say that.
2 runs scored. It's just like the
timing couldn't have been any better.
I swear it's the ultimate jinx. I swear to God that Nicky Lopez is out at home though, but I don't know. He's not. Never mind.
I was just about to say that. I heard you say Graven, and I look over. I'm like, I don't know that.
Well, you could blame that one on Zim. So
yeah. Terrible timing.
Damn you, Zim. It's all your fault. But all right, we're getting towards the back end of the show. We're at the hour and a half mark, basically. The last big segment before the fun stuff we do at the end is our guaranteed take, which is our hot topic conversation of the week that could open up some hot debates. So without further ado, we're going to dive into this week's guaranteed take. Yes, this week's guaranteed take, it's going to tug on our heartstrings a little bit. I haven't told anyone about this except for Gonzo.
Royals
that's Jose Abreu right there. And this week is a conversation that I think a lot of people don't want to have, but I'm going to be that guy to start it. So the guaranteed take for this week, is this Jose Abreu's last ride into the sunset, passing off the reins to Andrew Vaughn at 35 years old and not doing what people expect of him? Is this Jose Abreu's last season with the Chicago White Sox? I see the look on Vinny's face, but I'm going to pass it to Missy first because I got to get your take on this one.
Honestly, I am a big Abreu. I mean, I kind of like who isn't like hasn't been a big Abreu fan since he's been here, and I personally hope he doesn't. This is not at all. I just think kind of the performance we've been seeing from him lately, I feel like there's something up. I don't know who brought it up earlier, just saying like seeing him at the plate, just something seems off. I just think something's off with him. I don't think we saw, the last of Abreu. I think that there's more to him and there's more that he's going to give to this team, but I just have like just this inkling that something's off with him. So whether you said, I don't know who else said it, but like Eloy not being there, like he like, always makes him happy. And I guess it's tugging at the heartstrings right now, like you said, because like I just don't want to believe that this is it for him. I feel like he's got more in him. Keep going.
Yeah, I think Sox fans across the board are in love with Jose Abreu. There's no doubt about it. He'd probably end his career as one of the best first basemen in White Sox history, next to Frank Thomas. Vinnie Parise, is this Abreu's last ride into the sunset?
I don't believe so. If it's not with the White Sox, he will play again, like longer in Major League Baseball. I don't think he will like be retired after this season by any means. But if they move on from Abreu, it's because they believe in Vaughn and they have Sheets and Berger. They have a lot of guys and Grandal to be frank, they have a lot of guys who should probably be playing first base instead of, their positions that they're playing now. Like I saw Beefloaf tweeted earlier today. The only thing worse than Vaughn batting ninth is him playing left field at Kauffman Stadium, which is like the hardest left field to play in Major League Baseball. And Vaughn not being a very good left fielder is the reason this game is now tied. Because I feel like he should have probably caught that ball at the wall off of the bat of Whit Merrifield. But, if he moves over to first base, I think it probably makes the team better in general. But I'm not certain we've seen the last of Abreu's elite bat. So if we get to the end of this year and he's still batting 199 with an OPS under 700, and, then it'll be like, okay, this is not good. He's certainly not going to get any better in his mid-30s. But if he comes back to the Abreu that we've seen the last couple summers, then no, I'm not sure that not giving him at least another year or two is the best idea. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to go with no as of right now, though.
All right, I love it. Gonzo, what are your thoughts here?
So I believe Jose will come up to par here with his normal splurges during the summer. However, I asked this question because I do believe it will be so. It's not a bad time to start thinking about what is to come. He is getting up to the upper 30s. He's going to be asking for quite a deal still at first base with his power, with the Timmy extension coming up and some pitchers getting extensions and the core just eating up more money. I think it's a viable outcome that we're going to have to come to realization. We saw Paulie hand it down to Jose, and now we're going to see Jose hand it down to Andrew Vaughn. But yes, I believe this will be it for Jose.
Wow.
As sad as that is to say.
Yeah, to piggy off Gonzo, I mean, I do think I'm kind of in agreement. I'm kind of not. I think it's the last we're going to see of Jose Abreu as the White Sox first baseman. I do think if he comes back, I think next year he'll be a DH, and I think they'll let Vaughn play at first base. Or at least they'll do, he'll be the guy that fills in on off days and DHs most of the time. I don't think he's going to leave the White Sox. I think this clubhouse relies too much on him and the chemistry, especially with guys like Eloy and Robert. And, next year we'll probably have Cespedes, all these guys. I think he's going to be a clubhouse leader. It's going to be a big name that's going to be worth paying the money to have him there, even if it's just in a DH role. So that's kind of what I think, guys.
Have you noticed that a lot of the best Abreu clips that you show are like with the empty stands? Just meaning, I'm not saying that's a reason that Abreu, I'm saying that 60-game stretch that he had in 2020 might be the best 60-game stretch that any White Sox hitter ever had. I'm talking Frank Thomas. I'm talking Paul Konerko. I'm talking Jermaine Dye, who came in fourth for the American League MVP in 2006. This man in those 60 games was so good that I'll almost never forget it. Seeing that solo home run against the Reds with the fake fans. That's a weird thing to look at. When Fox put the fake fans in the stands, that was so weird. Looked like they used the fans from MLB The Show. That was unreal. But, Jose Abreu, love the guy.
Yeah, I think we all agree that Jose has been amazing here in Chicago, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So we got through with all the baseball talk. I figured we would take it kind of to the nerd side of things. And Missy, I don't even know if you're nerdy into like Star Wars and stuff like that, but I just wanted to point out that today is the 20-year anniversary of Attack of the Clones. So I thought maybe we could go around and kick it around with our favorite Star Wars memories or something along the lines of that, just to kind of keep it in tune with Star Wars. And I know that my buddy Vinny is a big Star Wars fan, so I think we can start with you, Vincenzo.
I think Attack of the Clones is a dog crap movie. It's by far my least favorite Star Wars movie out of all of them, and I still really enjoy watching it, even though it kind of starts with the most evil character in the history of like cinema, or even just books. Any type of storytelling, the most evil character is frolicking around in the flowers. Like I just can't get down with that part. But there are certain things in the movie that I think are necessary. That's crazy. How many years did you say? 20?
20 years old today.
20 years old. That's the first Star Wars I ever saw in theaters. I'm not trying to make anybody feel old, but that is the first Star Wars that I saw in theaters. I'm 27. That's crazy that it's 20 years old. But you asked what the favorite Star Wars memory was. I think my favorite Star Wars memory was in 2000 and it had to have been 15 when The Force Awakens came out, episode 7, just because that was my true experience as an adult going to see a Star Wars movie in the theaters with a group of people. We didn't like dress up or anything. Like we're not that nerdy, but no offense to those who do that stuff. I'm not against going to the movie theater in a robe with a lightsaber. I just don't. It was a lot of fun to go with like 6 or 7 people and see a Star Wars movie on the big screen as an adult. I don't really remember going to the theaters when I was 7 and 9 when 2 and 3 came out. But when 7 came out, it was a lot of fun. Whatever you think about the movie, I don't really care. It was just fun going to see a Star Wars movie in theaters. And an honorable mention, the greatest scene in any Star Wars movie is the final scene of Rogue One. And I remember leaving the movie theater with my jaw on the floor. Like, I cannot believe that just happened.
Yeah, for any of you Star Wars folks out there, it basically ends with the beginning of A New Hope, where Vader just like kills like an entire ship of rebels with his lightsaber. It's pretty badass stuff. So excellent stuff there, Vincenzo.
Missy's like, I'm never coming on this show ever again.
No. I'm not into Star Wars. I'm the worst with like series, like movie series. So Marvel, I'm terrible with. I don't know where to begin. Star Wars, I think I watched once in high school. One thing I just watched though, all 12 hours of Lord of the Rings. I mentally prepared and watched all of Lord of the Rings. That's all I can say about, I guess, nerd stuff. But yeah, I'm not a Star Wars person, so I don't think I can give any take on that all the way. Pulled up so fast. I love the Lord of the Rings though. I know this is a Star Wars talk, but if that proves anything about if I'm a nerd or not, I guess I got that.
That's all right. You can fly your nerd flag for Lord of the Rings. That's fine.
It was just kind of like, I bet you won't watch it. And I was like, no, watch me. I'm going to watch all of it. Watch all the extended ones. Yeah, pretty good. I see what they're going with there. I'm not a very big action movie person, but yeah, no, I was a big Lord of the Rings fan. I couldn't stop watching it. I think I wasted like a whole week on it, just watching it every day after I got home from work.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's good stuff right there.
So I don't have the Star Wars. The only thing I ever talked about with Star Wars is I watched the first movie, like the first one that's ever come out, because I know that it's like out of like order, or like I don't know, it's just like out of order kind of thing. And I remember after it was like an ex-boyfriend. He goes, "So what'd you think?" I was like, "We spent that whole time just for like something, like them to shoot something into like a hole like this size. What was that all about?" And then he was like, "You want to watch the second?" I was like, "No, I don't want to watch the second." I was like, "What was that whole movie about?" So yeah, I never watched Star Wars after that. And then we broke up shortly after that, maybe in that flight, but
probably because of the Star Wars, I bet.
Yeah, I'm a big Star Wars nerd. I was like, I can't do it. I'm sorry.
All right.
Yeah, that's all I got. Sorry.
Awesome. No, that's fine. Gonzo, let me toss it to you. You got a Star Wars memory?
Well, to be fair, I didn't watch Lord of the Rings. That's something I never got into. And Alyssa Bergamini also didn't watch Star Wars on this show when she announced it.
Hang on. You can say her name again, because I have her dressed up from Star Wars Day. Go ahead.
And it makes me so mad at how good whoever did her hair. It is perfect. Like, I swear whoever did Rey's hair for the movie did Alyssa's before Star Wars night at Guaranteed Rate Field.
Yeah, shout out to Alyssa Bergamini, friend of the show, by the way.
But she's getting back into it, so all is okay on her end.
Yeah, she's gonna come on one time and be like, "Guys, guess what I did." I'm just waiting for the day. I know it's coming.
She's gonna watch the whole trilogy, and that's gonna be fantastic. My
That's
early
right.
memories of Star Wars was going to Chuck E. Cheese and playing on some of those games that they had for Star Wars related. I think I really enjoyed, as far as anything related for Star Wars, playing Battlefront on PlayStation 2. I spent so many hours playing that damn game, and took so much of my life away. Kind of like Call of Duty, but anything video games related will do that to you. And I love both Star Wars and Star Trek. Yeah, I don't know. It's even like in Phantom the Menace. I think when Liam Neeson dies to Darth Maul with Qui-Gon Jinn. That was
Spoiler alert.
That was upset. Oh yeah, sorry, to Alyssa.
I didn't even watch
Well,
it.
if
No.
Attack of the Clones came out 20 years ago, Phantom Menace had to have come out probably 22 years ago. Like, probably not many people on spoiler alert that want to be.
But I got my girlfriend on Mandalorian recently, so that was nice. So now that we got that going for ourselves, and I'm excited to see Obi-Wan Kenobi come out here at the end of May.
Yeah, that's right. Little Obi-Wan Kenobi. What I was going to say, 23 years, Vinny, Phantom Menace, 23 years ago.
Wow.
1999.
That's crazy.
I do like myself some Jar Jar.
I don't know if you guys want to feel old. I was born in 1999. I don't know if that makes anyone feel old.
That definitely makes me feel old.
I'm sorry. I just had to do it.
I was born in 88, so.
Oh.
But I'm the oldest one on the show, so.
I'm still a 90s baby, though. I pride myself. I just made it.
You did. You just made it. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. I worked hard on it. Thank you.
I had a feeling. So to dive into my Star Wars favorite memory, of course, as I pull up the best lightsaber battle in Star Wars history from Revenge of the Sith, was actually going to the midnight opening of Revenge of the Sith. And that's back when they actually did midnight shows, none of the 7 o'clock showings on the day before. And I went with a kid I met in high school, and I was a sophomore, and I went dressed up. The only thing I ever went dressed up for, but there's a plot twist here. I went as a low budget Wookiee. So I had a brown shirt that said low budget Wookiee. I had a crappy Chewbacca mask, and I had a Nerf crossbow. Yeah, I love how your laughs are like, yeah, that's pretty brutal, man. And you're in line with all the people that were at the theater because no one thought it was funny except for me. So I went into that midnight. What's that, Gonzo?
I was gonna say, for me, if someone goes to the movie theater with a crossbow, I'd be kind of
not a real crossbow. Come on, it's a Nerf.
That could go so many different ways, but yes, that's a classic uniform.
Yeah, so this is my favorite memory, going to see the midnight performance of this. You know, my dad talking about how we saw Star Wars when I was a kid. Definitely huge Star Wars nerd, and Vinny knows that. Just had to bring it up for the 20-year anniversary of Attack of the Clones. I mean, I think it's wild. I'm going to cut away from this scene because there's some big spoiler stuff that most people probably know already, but just check out Ewan McGregor. He'll be back in Obi-Wan in a couple of weeks on Disney Plus. They're not paying us to sponsor this.
And you see him in like every commercial ever if you just watch the White Sox one time.
Yeah, what's that crypto commercial? Or no, it's for Travelocity.
Or I honestly, he's in a crypto commercial too, I think.
Yeah, I think the one we see during Sox games is for some travel company.
Yeah, you're right.
But yeah, we did a little lighthearted talk at the end of the show. We've reached the final peak of the episode, which we like to do our little shout outs before we end things. So before I get to the main cast and crew, I do want to thank the amazing Missy Carroll for joining us for the entire show. It's been an absolute blast having you on. And before we let you go, we'll let you stick with us until we roll the credits, but we'll let you give some shout outs here, and then we'll let you plug anything that you want to plug before you exit at the end of the show. So take it away.
Sure. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm super nervous. It's the first podcast I've been invited on for the SouthSide Behavior stuff. So thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, you can just follow us everywhere on Twitter. It's at SS Behavior, TikTok and Instagram, SouthSide Behavior. That's it. My personal stuff is Missy.Carroll on TikTok and Instagram. Messy Carroll on Twitter. Missy Carroll was taken. Yeah, I think that's about it. Yeah, we're planning on doing a lot of like fun stuff this season. We're trying to go to as many games as we can. We're going the 25th for Illini night because a lot of us are U of I alums. And then we're also going the 26th, the day after too, because that was just pre-planned. But so we'll be there then. We'll be there throughout the summer. We'll always announce when we're going. We have a big tailgate. So if you see us, say hi, stop by, take a video. I'd love to post people on TikTok other than myself for once. That'd be really fun. So, yeah, I think that's about it. Yeah. So thank you guys.
Awesome. Well, it's been great hanging out with you for the night. And we'll definitely, actually, I brought one. I don't know if you got one handy. But
oh, yeah. I do.
I think we got to do this for the show.
I'm down.
Regardless of what happens in the game, I think we got to shotgun it. I don't have anything to poke a hole, so I'm just gonna chug it. But this makes for quality television.
I was gonna say, yeah, it's shotgunning is kind of my thing around here. No,
You gotta get the sound effect. I'll put it by the microphone. Here you go.
You know what someone told me once to do? Here, I think I have a key or something over here. Someone told me I should start doing ASMR, but for beer. They said like doing the like beer. I'm like, yeah, no shot. If I'm running really low on money, I'll go there. But
some people are into some weird shit.
I know. I'm like, there could be a market I could tap into there. I just gotta do some market research.
I see what you did there. You tap into.
Here, let me grab a key real quick. It's right here.
All right, that's awesome. How can we let her go without us having shotgun a beer together? I mean, I think that's just necessary.
It's impossible.
How do you plan on it?
And technically, I'm not shotgunning it. I'm just chugging it. But
oh no,
Joe, how do you have a beer and to plan to shotgun it, but don't got anything to shotgun it with?
Listen,
my man.
I don't have to explain myself to you.
I think when you have a kid, you no longer have to shotgun beers. I think
Wait, say that again?
I think when you have a kid, you no longer have to shotgun beers. If you want to, because you think it's fun, you can. And same thing with taking shots of like Malort or any other disgusting liquor. Once you have children, that like pressure is just off of you. You could do it still if you want. I probably will from time to time, but I will never feel obligated to do any of that crap once I have a kid. I'll be like, no, I got to take care of my kid, but I just don't want to.
Missy's just drinking laps around us. She's at U of I, so she's got some practice.
They literally call it champagne for a reason.
Champagne for colleges.
Champagne. U of I has taught me some fun party tricks. I'm like I always make it a joke. I'm like the circus monkey sometimes because they're like, I'll just do something. I don't know. I'll be like, oh, let me shotgun a 4 Loko. And everyone's like, do it, and then do it every time we see you. Yeah, that was a phase I went through last year. Before Sox games, I used to shotgun 4 Loko.
I think I would die.
That brings me back to like 19. Not 19, but like 2004.
Yeah,
where they banned 4 Lokos for a while. Yeah, I remember that.
I think I took years off my life during that phase. And who says it's over? Because it's probably going to come back again this season. It was fun. It's sometimes it's fun when people are like, "Hey, do it." I'm like, yeah, all right. And I was like, I got it. But shotgunning for Locos definitely has taken years off my life.
Yeah, and it's the top of the ninth. The Sox got a runner on second base with alive with 1 out.
All right.
The game's tied 3-3.
Top
So
of
we're
10.
just gonna chug. Is it? Oh wow! It is
Yeah.
top of 10.
Top of
That's
10.
the ghost runner on second.
All right. Well, forget me, and I'm not gonna say anything about the outcome of the game because I screwed it last week. But we will do a cheers in honor of the Sox, hopefully performing well in extra innings. So without further ado, let's go.
All right.
Cheers.
Cheers. Take this off.
She's still gonna beat you.
Start.
She's still gonna beat you. She's still gonna beat you. I know it. Oh, she didn't beat him but close. She didn't beat him but close. And he had like a 15-second head start. That was magnificent. What a play. What a play.
I'll give it to Missy because I didn't realize you weren't going to start at the same time as me, and you win by me. I didn't even chug the beer in a long time. I feel like I'm an old man now.
The chugs per second favor Missy, and it's not close.
I was like, oh wait, I don't want to make it loud on the headphone, and I took a full 10 seconds.
No, you want it to be loud on the headphone.
Yeah, that's half the fun. But like I chugged it super slow because I didn't have the extra giant hole at the bottom of the can. But it's all fun. It's all fun and games. So if you want to see Missy chug a bunch of beer and have fun at Sox games, follow at SS Behavior on Twitter, at Missy Carroll. They're also on Instagram. I'm forgetting other platforms, but I think that's everything.
TikTok.
But give them a follow. Always fun stuff. That's kind of how I found Missy to be on the show because I was scrolling through TikTok and the algorithm just found me. And I'm like, all right, well, I got to get her on the show. And sure enough, I did. So great stuff tonight, Missy. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for having me.
Not a problem. And we'll toss it around for shout outs. Gonzo, I'll let you go next, my friend.
Yeah, I'd like to shout out. Well, first of all, Missy, thanks for coming on to the show. It was nice getting to hear about your platform. And then Vinny, and anybody in the chat here, Blackhawks fans, Vinny wrote a fantastic piece today that came out today. Stellar piece by Vinny to remind me of how painful it is of how Stan Bowman actually is. Because most of those things I wanted to forget, but Vinny brought it right back to my face, and I couldn't stop but shed a tear. But also, Vinny's always been on it lately with his posts and just overall content and being at Sox games. We love to have our brother in the show out there representing. And then Joe, thank you for helping me keep my image on the show from being gone for a month because of my day job. But this guy's been masterful with his edits, and you guys have been being willing to handle me even when I'm giving you guys some nonsense and testing you guys. But overall, I gotta give a shout out to my girlfriend, who's always my support and my side. But I think above all, I want to give a shout out to something that I think is more purposeful in life, and that is a shout out to all the victims of the families from all over the country this past weekend, especially Buffalo.
Amen. For
I
sure.
know we brought up TikTok, but I couldn't believe that TikTok allowed a mass shooting video on their stream. That was heartbreaking for me to watch, and a person in my shoes, that was very hard for me to watch. Part of the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing, and still stuff like that going on around this country. And as I talk right now, Luis Robert hits a run bomb. Great spark to my shout out here. But yes, shout out to those families in tough times. I hope they give all the love that they need right now in hard times that they're going to be facing in grievances.
Appreciate that, Gonzo.
That is my shout outs.
Great sentiment there. Yeah, of course, our thoughts and prayers are with all the victims. Our world needs to be changed for the better. That's one thing for sure. So thank you, Gonzo. Vinnie Parise, I'll toss it to you now for your shout outs, my friend.
Yeah, I'm going to piggyback off Gonzo just a little bit here. First off, what happened in New York and all across the country with this violence, a lot of it stems from racism and stuff like that. It's just garbage. I hate to see it. I'm deeply, deeply sorry to any of the families. Thoughts and prayers. It seems like just a nice thing to say when stuff like this happens, but I really hope we could do something here to figure this out in the coming years, because, you know, we're all going to start having families and stuff, and, you know, raising kids in that environment is just not something we all want to deal with. Hopefully we're able to come together as a society over the next couple of years and get this thing straight, because I'm tired of hearing about it, quite frankly. When I hear, you know, the United States of America, it's the best place in the world to live, because it's true, but at the same time, there are some serious flaws, and both things are allowed to be true. And,
for sure,
you know, so I hope everybody is able to find some sort of peace and figure this thing out as a nation, because we're better than this. And I know we are. I believe that. So always my shout out. It starts and ends with my girlfriend, Katie. I love her very much, and I'm very happy for everything she brings to me, my life, allowing me to do this show and all my other nonsense. I'm not the easiest person to deal with or live with. I'm always talking into a microphone or screaming about Luis Robert hitting tanks in the 10th inning. I'm a weirdo, guys. Okay. The only person who might be weirder than me is somebody who like wants to be with me. So shout out you, Katie. We love you very much. And then of course I'll shout out all of you guys. Missy, thank you so much for coming on our show. It's been wonderful. I mean, when 2 hours are able to fly by, and it feels like it's been 10 minutes, that's how you know stuff is fun, and that's a sign of a great guest and a great show. So thank you very much, Gonzo. Thank you for the nice words. The Blackhawks, tough. You know, seeing all these former Hawks dominating in the playoffs. They traded back in 2017, and Dallas took the goalie that made 68 saves yesterday in the playoffs. Like, that's just, it's unreal stuff. We got a lot of stuff coming up with the NHL playoffs going up on DeWindyCity.com and Pucks and Pitchforks, just all the different fan-sided sites. Of course, Joe, thank you very much for always editing them. You know, when I came up with that stupid idea of put on your socks, I bet you
it was a great idea.
Yeah, it was a great idea, but it's a lot of work. We put a lot of work into it, and it's every single day. When the White Sox get canceled, I turn on this microphone. I'm like, okay, so the Sox got canceled today. And, you know, so it's a lot of work, and we do a great job with it. And thank you very much for that. You're the greatest MC/host that anybody could ask for. So it's been a good time. You know, I'll also throw it to anybody who watches, listens, reads any of the stuff that me, Gonzo, Joe, Zim, Missy, any of us put out there. It's not easy to just throw out your name and attach it to opinions and stuff like that. People hate you for it, even though they like don't know you. Chances are you would enjoy going out for a beer with me, even though you think my take on like Andrew Vaughn batting ninth stinks. You know, like it, you know, but you know, I'm excited about what we got coming up. Mike North is going to be our guest on Crosstown Crosstalk on Thursday. We're still working for our guest on Friday for Bar Down Talking Hockey. I've never met Mike face to face. All we've done is exchange a couple hit pieces against one another on our shows, telling me that, you know, he's going to get the bat and stuff. I love Mike North. I can't wait to meet him. So it's going to be a lot of fun doing that. Make sure you're reading the blogs, fansided.com, all the different sites. We're going to torch Tony. We're going to talk hockey. It's good stuff. So thanks, guys.
Thank you, Vinny. I appreciate it, man. In terms of my shout outs, first and foremost, Missy, I want to thank you so much for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure having you. So thank you. Of course, I want to thank everybody in the chat room that was here all night. Great stuff. We appreciate you guys for tuning in, no matter what platform you joined us on, or if you're listening to the podcast version tomorrow. We appreciate you. Huge shout out to my lovely, beautiful wife, Catherine, and our 3-month-old daughter, Audrey. I love you both very much. And my 2-year-old Great Dane, Maverick, who's probably outside of my office door right now, ready for me to take him out. So I love you too, buddy. And then I do want to give a massive shout out as well to all of my co-hosts. Vinnie Parise, love you, brother. I love all the content you bring every single week. I appreciate it. Gonzo, love you too, man. Everything you got going on. Of course, he's back here now to hear me gush about him. Gonzo, thank you for everything. And then last but not least, Steven Zim Zimmerman, you couldn't be with us tonight on the show, but I appreciate you, as always, talking White Sox with us. And that's about it. Oh, of course, I do want to talk briefly about what's coming up this week on the Barroom Network. Of course, before us, we had the AA team, where they had boxer Brandon Lee on the show. So that was very cool. And of course, we had South Burbs Hitmen on just now. And then tomorrow, we've got Dan and Aldo Bare Their Souls. And are you guys are going Wednesday, Vinny, this week or Thursday?
We got Bar Down on Wednesday, talking hockey. We'll go over the Stanley Cup playoffs. You know, the Wild first round just ended. There's no hockey today. I feel lost and lonely. We'll pick up the second round starting tomorrow. I got the Battle of Alberta. You know, Rick from Red Deer's just crapping his pants right now, thinking about Calgary playing Edmonton. That's going to be outstanding. My Leafs were eliminated. I'm going to get torched on Wednesday. I'm just mentally preparing for it. And the New York Rangers have the best goalie on planet Earth. The Battle of Florida, too. You're going to want to tune into Bar Down. We're going to scream at each other. So, and then Mike North on Thursday, talking about baseball.
It's going to be fantastic. Great week here on the Barroom Network. Of course, we'd have draft coverage. We've got the Barfly Tailgate Show, Draft on Tap. Football's coming back. We just had the schedule unveiled. It's going to be a great season. So make sure you mash that subscribe button for the Barroom Network. You'll get all of our great shows, whether you watch us on YouTube or on Twitter, or you can listen to the podcast version anywhere you can find a podcast if you subscribe to the Barroom Network. Thanks to Aldo Gandia, the man behind the scenes at the Barroom Network, the barkeeper, for letting us do what we do every week. And that's all I got, guys. We've reached the final end of the show. This is the real deal, the end of the show. Thanks again to Missy Carroll, our fantastic guest. For the South Burbs Hitmen, I'm Joe Mandel. That's Vinnie Parise. That's Gonzo, Chris Gonzalez, and Steven Zim Zimmerman couldn't be with us tonight, but he's with us in spirit. We'll see you next week. Hopefully the Sox can pull this one off. I'm not going to say anything else about that. And without further ado, let's go White Sox. Let's get this winner, and it's going to be a great week. See you next time.